AIM's first recipe demo video. I'm Michelle, your nutrition educator. Today I'll be demonstrating how to make a seasonal kale salad with fruit. The kale and fruit is available at AIM's farmers markets or at AIM's mobile market, the Rollin route. Let's get started. For this recipe, you're going to need 1 bunch of raw kale, and today we're going to use lacinato kale, but really any variety will do. You'll want 1.5 cups of seasonal raw fruit, and since strawberries look so gorgeous, we're going to use strawberries today. You'll want 1/3 cup of chopped nuts. You can use any kind you like. I like walnuts, so that's what I'm going to use. You can also leave them out if you don't like nuts in your salads. We're also going to make our own very simple dressing. For this, we're going to use olive oil and a little bit of red wine vinegar. Okay, for our dressing, this is really simple. I just measured in 1/4 cup of olive oil into a small bowl, and I have 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. You can actually use any kind of vinegar that you like. I thought that the red wine vinegar would go really nicely with the strawberries. To make the dressing, we're just gonna start whisking our oil and then very slowly drizzle in our vinegar. And that's just gonna come together very quickly. And now we have a dressing. Looks great. So I'm going to put this aside and I'll go get our kale. So the first thing we're going to do is cut off our stems. They're a little bit tough for a salad, but they still have plenty of flavor and nutrients that'd be a shame to waste. So we are actually going to save those for later. To get them off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold over my leaves and then just slice as close as I can to the stem as possible. And that still has lots of really good flavor and nutrients, so I'm going to put this to the side so I can put it in a little baggie and save it for later. If I want to boost up some soups or smoothies, I'll toss it in there later. They'll probably keep for about a week in the fridge. Before I got started with the kale, I actually went ahead and washed it, and a super easy way to wash it is to put it in a big bowl and then swish it around in some water. And that gets all the dirt out of the little crevices in the leaves. And then you can just give it a rinse right before you get started. What we're going to do with our lettuce leaves is just pile them up and slice them into very, very thin strips. All right? And you want to get these strips as thin as you can, because one of our goals here is to break down these cell walls a little bit to make it the kale a little bit softer to eat in our salad. Okay, now we have a beautiful pile of thinly sliced kale. And you can see they're really, really small pieces. And I'm gonna go ahead and just add them to this bowl of kale that I already prepped, okay? The next thing that we're gonna do with our kale is massage it. We're gonna use our hands for this, and so I'm gonna go give them a quick wash. I'll be back here in 20 seconds. Okay, I'm back with my clean hands and my bowl of kale and my dressing. So what's gonna happen here is I'm going to just dress the salad and then I'm gonna massage the kale. It is exactly as it sounds. I'm just going to pour the dressing into the kale, and then I'm gonna take my hands and I'm just gonna squeeze it really good. So what we're doing here is we are breaking down the cell walls, which softens up the kale really nicely, makes it much, much easier to chew. One other really important thing that it's doing is it's removing a lot of the bitterness that people don't really like about kale. So if I just squeeze it really tightly, and I'm being pretty tough with this, you can do this as long as you'd like. At least a couple minutes would be good. Okay, so now we have our kale. It's massaged and it's also dressed because we used that dressing that we made to help massage it. I'm gonna put my kale aside and we'll deal with our strawberries. Again, we can use any fruit in season, and I like strawberries, so we're gonna use these. All I wanna do with my strawberries is just core them. Now, strawberries, I washed right before we got started. Unlike the kale, where you can wash it right before you put it in the fridge, strawberries don't really love water before they go in the fridge. So it's really best to store them unwashed in the refrigerator and then wash them right before you're ready to use them. So for my strawberries, I just cored them. I'm going to cut them in half, and then I'm going to slice them. You can really use any kind of fruit that you like. I like to keep it seasonal because usually fruits are tastiest, freshest, least expensive when they're in seasons. In the fall, I might use pears. In the winter, I might use some kind of citrus. It's really up to you and what you prefer. All right, and I'm just going to add these to the strawberries I've already gotten prepared. And this is about 1.5 cups of strawberries. And now I just need my kale, my strawberries, and my nuts, and we're just gonna mix this all together. So I'm going to toss my strawberries into my kale, and I'm gonna toss my walnuts into my kale. And now I'm just going to give that a beautiful toss. And there we have a beautiful seasonal kale salad with nuts. Thanks for joining AIM for this quick recipe demo. I hope you're inspired to experiment with seasonal ingredients. Keep checking AIM's website for new videos of local farms and interviews with farmers growing your food. Our education team is working hard to bring in-person programming online, and we're looking forward to sharing more with you very soon.